Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Perfect Balance Trodclass. We have Beenie, Okavongo, the Rebel Guru, and Daga, aka Teacher Mahat, and yours truly, that's Dada, and we are the Perfect Balance.
Yes, thanks.
Yes,
Great to
give
see
thanks
the
for
them
life.
again. Great to
Well,
start
man,
hearing
give
them
thanks.
those, we got through a really turbulent week this week. Threats of tornadoes and storms. But, there's always a calm after the storm. So we do give thanks for the calm, even though we still welcome the storm. But sometimes the storm is a regeneration same way. Yeah. We have a very interesting balanced view segment this morning. I want to jump straight into that with Okavango. So I turn it over to Okavango for the balance reads.
I give thanks, just Dada.
I reckon.
Yeah, so when I jump into the balance views section, and again the balance views section of the program is the section of the program where we discuss current affairs. So let's jump right into it. We're gonna kick it off with the Olympics. So the Olympics is almost a conclusion. I think we're gonna have the only thing left, I think, is the marathon and the closing ceremony. You know what I mean? And we witness where we have a lot of African success and Caribbean success in the Olympic, and we want to talk about some of, you know what I mean? The success that African teams have. So
And the Afrobeat.
yeah, the Afrobeat, yeah, like what Brother Delany said. Yeah. So first, what did them think of for the performance in the Olympics by African people and Caribbean people? Yeah.
Well,
Dada.
yeah, well, it's always good to see African people extended and doing well because we claim it as our own. Every success of African or an Afrobean person or an athlete or team, whatever the case is, we always claim these successes as our own because it's personal to I and I. And it just shows you that within us, intuitively within I and I, we are really African to the core because we see that whenever there is success, everyone gravitate to it and accept it and say, yes, we do good. But unfortunately, when it really matters, when we really should do these things, we try to separate things those times. But we still give thanks to it in
Give
these
thanks,
moments still,
give thanks still.
Yes, sir.
And it's something to show that we can excel in things. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yaga?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, looking at the Olympics, we see where our athletes have done exceptionally well over the years. And times we, as a people, run the wire fence between our nations and separate us. So, because it's a competition, it gets really competitive, where we start celebrating individual territories and jurisdiction instead of celebrating African success. But it should be clear that there is no difference between us as much as they try to put the wire fence between us. So we should celebrate all African success. And we see with the dwindling of the powerhouse that Jamaica is in the sprinting, it's the change, it's a change of an era. And we've seen that time and time again where another country has come on and taken up the baton and lead in the sprint. So disappointing on that front. However, we've seen the track and field coming through and deliver in some medals that were unexpected. And so in the field events. So in that regards, I want to big up all the athletes who have gone out with the little support that they've got, and much more needs to be pushed into our athletes so that they can get their full performance on the day, because you have some athletes who have been training right throughout the year, and when it comes down to the event, the necessary support and arrangement wasn't made for them to have their full team around them, and that has affected the performances in some areas. So there are room for improvements to continue the production line and ensure that athletes are coming through at all stages and all levels. So we need to see the investment at the grassroots.
Yeah, man. Hey, before you begin, let me just run through some of the numbers. So the African country with the most medals was Kenya with 4
Kenya.
goals. Yeah, Kenya with 4 gold and 2 silver and 5 bronze. And followed by South Africa
South
with
Africa,
1
yeah.
gold, 3 silver and 2 bronze. 6 medals. And they have Ethiopia with 1 gold and 3 silver for 4 medals. In the Caribbean, we had Cuba. I wanna come back to Cuba with 2
And yeah,
goals.
wait, before you even go on in Africa, it had Tunisia and Egypt too, you know.
Yeah, man. Egypt had 1 gold,
Right.
1 silver and a bronze for 3 medals.
All right, yeah. And Tunisia,
Yeah,
right?
but we have a lot more African countries that got medals. But I just want to go to the Caribbean. The Caribbean,
The
Cuba,
Afrobean.
yeah, Afrobean, with 2 gold for Cuba, 1 silver for Cuba, and 5 bronze. They have 8 medals. And Jamaica was second on the Caribbean with 1 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze for 6 medals. And I want to go down to St. Lucia. St. Lucia won their first
Ever.
ever medal, and their first ever medal
Gold medal.
was a gold medal. And
Yeah,
then
man.
they followed that over. The second medal, and the second medal was a silver medal
Silver.
from one Julian Alfred. So I want to big up Julian Alfred.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
So,
man.
yeah, man, fantastic
Love his
young
soul.
lady.
Love his soul.
Yeah,
Lovely,
man,
love his
fantastic
soul.
young lady.
Yeah,
And we
man.
also had the Dominica. Dominica and the Caribbean won their first ever medal too at the Olympics, and their first ever medal was a gold medal. That is what's her name? Tia. Her name is Tia
Lafont.
Lafont. Tia Lafont.
Yeah, Lafont.
Tia Lafont, yeah, man. Won the first ever medal, and the first ever medal was also a gold medal. In Africa, Botswana, let's to Tobago won Botswana first ever gold medal. First ever gold medal for Botswana. That's a big deal too. You know what I mean?
In a big event too.
Not big, not
In a
big
big
event,
event.
yeah. First
In a
ever
big
gold medal
event too.
in the 200 meters.
200 meters,
Yeah,
big
big
event.
So what's your take on the World Olympics?
Well, it's always nice to see us celebrating when African countries represented throughout the earth, you know, do something like that, like overcome a feat, right? They medal, they go home, you know, they celebrate. But the conditions under which these athletes are training is not ideal, right? And even with
Less than
all that
desirable.
adversity that they face, they can still compete against the world, literally, with minimum. And they go out there and they do the best. So that's why we celebrate them, because in them, what we see is you can achieve
So-
anything you want to achieve with what you have. You have to know how to make it work. They have proven that time and time again. So that's why we celebrate them. They represent us in a grassroots way. It's common to all man suffering, right? And they go through it. Most of them do not have the right facilities to work in. You see where some of these African athletes train, for example, and how they train. And you're like, wow, but they make it. They go out there and they do it. So yeah, we celebrate them, man. Yes, yes.
Next time.
So Bengi, when I was creating my list, I was writing down all the Caribbean islands that had medals, and I didn't see Trinidad. So I want to ask you what happened there. Trinidad, nothing at all.
Well-
What's going on there?
Well, I don't know, but listen, there are many countries who go home with nothing. So they just in that group.
Ever. Nothing
Yeah,
ever.
they just in that group. It's not them alone. So, hey,
Yeah, trying to
Nothing.
put my Trinidad friend on the
They are
spot.
way bigger country. They are way bigger countries that went down with nothing at all. With
Yeah,
bigger
with
countries
nothing.
with
Yeah.
way more resources.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Every
Yeah.
event
Yeah.
have sometime at least 8 people competing in it, and there's only
Yeah.
3 medals. So
Three-
5
yeah,
of them
only 3
guys
guys.
go home with
I-
nothing.
So they join
You
the
know
class.
the
They
thing
do.
the thing we're talking about African athletes and Afrobean athletes, and we're looking in countries that United States of America, they top the medal chart with
Medallion.
123 medals, 38 goals. You have Great Britain, they were third in the medal charts with 14 goals, 63 medals. France with they were fourth with 16 goal, 62 medals. And I mean, and when you look at these teams,
A lot of African people
it's
compete
like
in these countries.
maybe half of the team is
Is
African
African.
athletes.
Yes,
You know
sir.
what I mean? And we talk and Afrobean athletes,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you know
Mhm.
what I mean? You see people from Jamaica, people from Trinidad, all over. I was watching the long jump, right?
Mhm.
And the three leading
Yeah.
long jumpers was all Cubans.
But
All of them were Cubans.
traditionally, Cuba has produced really talented and successful athletes, especially in the field events.
In the
And I
field events.
mean,
Yes, man.
it's
Yes.
something that I've noticed about the communist countries or the former communist countries. They've done well in sports and medicine over the years for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
man.
know, something what I like to say about this Olympics, though. To me, I think the format kind of threw me. Because like you said, even now we're looking at the final event coming up, right? And it's the marathon. We
Yeah,
told,
no, man. I saw it down on the hand, man.
yeah, but normally the 100 meter like is like one of the penultimate events at the Olympics.
Now, the 100 meter is normally
Mm.
like the first medal or first race on the track.
Mm.
Yeah, man. And so on the track, it normally end with a 4x4 on the track. But the Olympics conclude with the
With the
marathon.
marathon.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I guess because, you know, the 100 meter always the highlight, you know?
No, it's because you only want the 100 meter, and that's the big thing. You know what I mean? So, and they start and finish you. Yeah, man. But I will
Hey,
say big up
hey,
all the,
hey. Yeah, man,
African
great
athletes.
performance
No
by all
matter
of them, man.
what country them run
Yes, sir.
for, we
Yes,
still
sir.
African
Yeah.
athletes. We see
Yes,
all the
sir. We
African
do give
athletes in the
thanks.
US, all the African athletes in
Yeah.
the UK, France. We big up all the African athletes.
Yes, sir.
You know what I
Those
mean?
who have
All
won
the
and
athletes
those who have
overall.
not
All of
And
won.
them.
all,
They
All
just
of them.
need to know. They just need to.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, all right. So we move on. So around the world we see a lot of demonstration going on. We have demonstration going on in Nigeria right now in Africa. We have demonstration going on in Venezuela, in South America. I think last week we have a demonstration in Bangladesh which led to the hosting of the prime minister. I think now the military is in charge there. I mean, I think she's free to England or something like that. We have a big unrest going on, demonstration going on in the UK, two separate demonstration going on in the UK, and with all these demonstrations going on all over the world, there's some more I didn't write down. There is the thought of a global reset going on. Bingy, what do you think of all these demonstrations going on, and what does this mean for the world?
I really don't know what it really means for the world. And what I do know is people are protesting because they tired of the systems that they live in or under, right? Most of the times, right? Whether they fighting against bigotry or racism or economic deprivation based on taxation or whatever, however the system presents itself that's negative to them. When they feel downtrodden, they're going to stand up and fight. So around the world today, we've seen that, right? All these protests, they fighting against authority. They fighting against authority because they marginalize, and yet they are the backbone of your society. These people, the common man, he's the backbone of all societies. He's the one going out there and really putting in the labor, right? That's how it works, right? Those who are so-called
Not,
elite,
not only the
you have
labor, not only the labor being, but they have to pay with their taxes as well.
well, yeah, well, that's natural because you're in a monetary system, so taxation is so that's what they're fighting against, right? They're fighting against economic and social injustices most of the times, right? Um, I don't know, right? Based on what human beings think comfort is, that the systems that they want to usher in would really benefit them. For example, I think there are always going to be protests, right, going forward. There have always been protests in the past.
And it's the people's right.
Yeah, and it's the people right to protest wars, right? So we know that, right? But does it really change? Like, does the systems really change based on what you think your needs are? Which most of the time is just based on a material aspect of survival, have a house, a car, a job, right? And you become complacent, so you lose yourself. So I don't know what they protest for when they get it. It actually changes. So my take on it is always going to be protests on the human beings always going to fight against what they see as injustices to themselves. But is the fighting redundant? Is it something that's not taking you anywhere? Or is it taking you somewhere? Are we continually protesting? Because if we are continually protesting, it means things are not changing. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
What are your thoughts on all these protests?
It's good to see people being driven towards action, you know. But I believe Jesse Jackson had a quote that I like this quote because it said that as a people we want everything we fought for, but we still don't have what we need, right? And I believe that in agreement with what Bingie's saying, where you see these protests over time, you know what I'm saying? And then things just, like in Jamaica, they would have said a 9-day memory. After a while, people just forget about it and get back to their regular means of action. Now, the reason why I find that this happens is because there is no effective plan of action towards the future. Like after we have these protests and we accomplish what we are protesting, what is our plan of action moving forward? There is very often very little thought given to the plan of action afterwards. And I believe that that is why we end up having reoccurring protests and protests over the same issues over and over again. So I believe that, yes, it's good to have the action, but we need to have a plan of action beyond the protest as to how we go forward.
Give thanks, Dada. Yaga, as our UK correspondent, you know anything about the protest going on in the UK?
Well, the protest in the UK is downright bigotry because you've got the EDL, which is English Defence League. So these are far right groups who believes in making UK great, and they are claiming that their jobs are being taken by foreigners. But you know, you've seen it, we've seen it. Locals don't want to work. So therefore, it becomes necessary to import foreign labor.
There you go.
And there is an influx of refugees, there is an influx of migrants moving towards the UK. So this is causing all the upstir and the uproar in particular these places that are strongly in areas, and it is a cause for concern at the moment because it is getting bigger and bigger, and people are shaking in their boots and people are terrified of what could happen. But we are not against peaceful protests that seeks to improve their living condition, because homelessness in the UK is on the rise. Child hunger is on the rise in the UK, and the social services in terms of housing and stuff like that, it is atrocious, and much more need to be done to raise the standard of living of the ordinary people in the UK. And we've seen, as a result of years of degradation, the Tory, who has been in power for over a decade, was voted out recently by the Labour, who no one wanted a few years ago. So it...
Yeah, man, give thanks, Yaga. My thing on the whole protest going on all over the world is, you know what I mean, people are fed up, and it's proved that these systems, the way how governments, these big governments and these we call them these big companies again, we call them
corporations.
these big corporations going about things is not working. People are upset these corporations keep getting richer, the heads of them getting richer and richer and richer, and the people on the ground is getting light is harder. The quality of light is going down. Everything is so
Because
expensive. You have to give everything. The little you earn,
Mm.
high taxes. You know what I mean? They can't do it's like from just work to home. That's all they can do. Work to home. There's no quality of life, and it's getting harder
inflation
and harder.
inflation has increased over the last decade, outstripping the increase in wages and people's salary. So in effect,
All over the
what
world.
people have experienced is a reduction in their salary because they are actually spending more than the pay rise that
Right.
they are getting.
I remember a couple of years ago they had these strikes going on in the US regarding the food services like McDonald's and these fast food restaurants, a lot of them and regular restaurants too, I imagine. And they were striking about minimum wage, how much they were being paid per hour. And when they actually analyzed the pay grade, the levels that they were at, when they compared it to the strikes of Martin Luther King, which was, I believe, like almost probably 50 years or so past, the level in terms of inflation, what they were getting was actually less than what they were fighting for in Martin Luther King's time. You know, it's like ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Yeah. Sometimes you see some stats that the kids today are growing up today when they grow up, they won't be able to afford a house based on how things are going. You know what I mean? I'm gonna take way more to own a home. It's
No,
crazy.
And the game keeps changing even now, right? It keeps changing because when you start benefiting, what happens, they enact laws. So like in America, like from August, the real estate investment requirements change, for example. So once they see a certain demographics getting into a game, what they do, they switch it so they make it inaffordable.
They move the
Yeah,
goalposts.
they moved the mark on you, so they just made it a little higher. So
Yes.
now it's
Yeah.
out of reach, right? It's out of reach. Yeah, in a monetary system, though, there is no such thing as fairness, right? And it doesn't exist. So we're
Doesn't
living in a
exist.
monetary system.
Yes,
That's
sir.
just it.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the
It's about the
reality.
money.
Yeah, man,
But
it's
I
a
want to say
monetary
something.
system.
I want to say something though about housing, right? And what their prediction is them saying that in terms of saying that by the time our children grow up, they won't be in a position to own a home, right? Now, it is important for us as African people to remember that every generation is supposed to create and make an easier way for the generations that follow. Our ancestors did it for us, and it is our responsibility to do it for our generations that are coming. So it is important for us to own homes now that we can now pass on to these generations, that we can entrust to them, that will always be in our land, in our family bloodline, in our nation, in our culture. So that means that these
Legacy.
challenges won't affect them. Yes, man.
Yeah,
Because
man.
if they had homes, they wouldn't have to worry about coming up to own homes, so they have homes already.
Yeah, man. Give thanks. So we'll move on to the next topic. So in Jamaica, we see Jamaicans just celebrated Independence Day, and two dancehall icons was honored. Bounty Killer, Rodney Price, and Beenie Man, Moses Davis was honored. What do you them think of the government honoring Beenie Man and Bounty Killer? Dada.
So just to clarify, it's Bounty Killer, aka Rodney Price,
Rodney Price.
and Beenie Man, aka Moses Davis.
Yes.
Two things. I think that it's always good to be recognized for your work, for your service, for
Your
accomplishments.
contribution, you know?
Yes, man. You gotta say, encouragement sweetens labor. So, I'm happy to see that. They have, I acknowledge the work of these men. They put in a lot of work. The quality of work speaks for itself. However, I just want to point out that sometimes in life, because when we talk about Beenie Man and Bounty Killer, we're talking about arch rivals, right? We're talking about nemesis, right?
For
And
decades.
yet still, for decades, and yet still, when we look at it, we see that it's almost as if they're symbiotic. You cannot speak of one without
Without
speaking
the
of the
other.
other. So sometimes when we find ourselves in situations where we say we are enemies or we are people that we don't like, it's the same way. These people could be so significant to important to us in our lives and our development that it makes sense you don't harbor those feelings and we just try to work with togetherness. Because if me the one I'm working together didn't know that at the end, then would have been, everything would have been, Beenie Bounty, Bounty Beenie. You understand? Feel better them did just work as Beenie Bounty family at the beginning and do some greater thing. We don't even know how would I get out tight.
Yeah, man. So they are supposed to get the order of distinction, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And but they're gonna get it on Heroes Day. So that's
Yes,
the
sir.
sixth highest national honor.
Yes, sir.
Dingy, you know the matter?
Well, you know what? I am happy when people are recognized for their contributions, right, to
Mhm.
their society at large, right, at home and at large, right, and what they both have contributed to dancehall and reggae, dancehall especially, is great, is mighty. But Ra said something. Ra said if they had collaborated together, they could have done something greater, right? That's what the I just say. But it's not so,
It's
What they,
hypothetical.
what they have done, they have done. Yeah,
It's
what they have done, they have
hypothetical.
done. But they have done it in a way that was meant to be done, right? The fact that rival, that yin and yang, that perfect, there's a symbiotic relationship, one without the other, night and day. So,
Mhm.
so that made it work perfectly, right? You have
And the
opposing
competition,
forces.
brings
Yes,
out brought out the best.
that
Both of
It
them,
brought out the
man.
best in
enhance
them.
Bring the best
both
out
of them
yeah,
talents,
man.
man. Iron sharpen iron. Congratulations to both of them, man.
Yes, sir.
Honorable.
Yeah, man.
Great
Honorable.
achievements.
Yeah,
Yes,
Great
great.
achievements.
You know what say? I know my artist them though. Straight up for a country, we say. A country, we say. We can't sell out Merciless. You see what I say? I'm Merciless, I'm an artist. Leonard, I'm an
Yeah.
artist.
Rest
No.
in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in
R.I.P.
peace.
Leonard. Yeah,
Yes,
man,
sir.
legendary.
Yeah,
But
Leonard
they're all
Bartlett.
great artists. They're all great artists, and we grew up on Beenie and Bunty. So, we are dancehall, and that's how we but see, and we cannot take away from their achievement and the accolades that is bestowed upon them. But for me, it's about the timing and all of that went into it, because we've seen, last year there was an outcry from the public when Marshall received an honor. Yeah, and there was a massive outcry, because in terms of column in the dancehall, in terms of achievement in the dancehall, there are many other people who has done much greater and tremendous work than Wayne Marshall. Not to take away from what
And
they've
not to cut
bestowed
you,
upon
not to
him.
cut you.
You
I
cut
think
me
the
still,
year
but go on.
I think the year before they honored Michelle Montana from Trinidad too. Yeah,
See?
so that was a
Yes.
part of the outcry too. You know what I
See,
mean?
so
Yeah, even though
in order to react to that situation, I see
give
this
it to
as a
Ike and them.
reaction. I see that
Right.
this as a reaction.
Appeasement.
Well, give
Appeasement.
thanks to that too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Give
man.
thanks to that too,
Yeah.
They
nonetheless.
listen.
That
They
means them a
listen.
listen.
They
They
listen.
listen
Yeah,
to the
man.
people.
With the voice
Yeah.
of the people, you know?
So now both parties are claiming responsibility for the
For this.
nomination of
Well,
the
you know that's
artist.
gonna happen. You know that's this gonna happen.
But
yeah.
It's gonna be
also,
it's gonna be an electoral
so the timing is very significant. It is very significant because a certain Vibes Cartel walked free recently, and when
Yeah.
he came out, he's setting a new trend. Bandana is wearing now, so you know where that is going. So it is only befitting to steal some of the headline as well. So it's headline
Right.
grabbing also. That's what
Yeah.
I honestly think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
we just want big up Beenie man and big up Bounty
Killer.
Killer.
Yeah, man.
It's well deserved, and we're glad them do it before them pass away. Cause
Yes,
them
sir.
love them thing
Yes,
they
sir.
do.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
man.
Yeah,
No
man. Them,
posthumous
and
thing.
them some man, as we said, some man also get it before.
Questionable.
Even
It's
though
questionable, but if them get it, that means
Them man
Beenie
can't
and
get
Bounty shall get it.
Can't get
Even
you
before
know,
them.
the one next thing I want to point out though, you know, like we want to make reference to say that their contribution is just in dancehall or reggae music, but one spark specifically is
volunteer.
about Bounty Killer. You know, matter what even Bounty Killer way. His contribution in Jamaica and tell us that invaluable
Yeah, man.
towards education, towards healthcare,
Yeah, man.
towards
Bounty Killer
community.
is a
Yeah, man.
real
Yeah,
son of the
man.
soil,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Son of the
Yeah,
soil,
man. Yeah,
man.
man.
No,
Real get us
you
like
can say anything you want about him, but he's a real Jamaican,
Yeah,
real
man.
Another
leader.
artist.
At the
Another
core,
artist,
Yeah,
you
man,
know.
an artist, man. Mm.
long time. Long time.
Riding west. Right.
Long time.
Yeah, man. Me
But
glad
both-
the two of them. Me like how, especially Bounty and mature, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
man.
As
You
a
can
big
see it,
man.
man. You can
Yeah,
see it.
and
You
I pull
see,
Beenie with
all
him.
right,
I
may I
pull
tell you
Beenie with
this?
him. Time is against us, and we have a
Yes,
bonus.
sir.
We have a bonus topic, right? So yesterday, Bingy's here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man. We get active one.
Oh,
man,
so
listen.
yesterday we had a big cricket match. Bingy, what do you think about the cricket match yesterday?
Nah, man, the day was nice. Nice. Very nice.
I
Yeah,
cricket
yeah,
bingy
but-
talk about,
witness.
the man asks about the cricket bingy.
No, the cricket was nice. The whole day was nice. But check this out. So
Mhm.
before the cricket game, I was warned that we had a professional player amongst us, right?
Yes, man.
Yes.
Played professionally.
Professionally.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
all
Remember
right.
the team. What team? What team again?
Pacers.
The
The
Pacers.
Pacers.
The
Yes, man.
Pacers,
And not the
right?
Indiana Pacers. Not the
Right,
Indiana
not the
Pacers.
Indiana Pacers. So I go on to see this professional play, like be a batsman.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The professional had no runs, like not a run.
Yes, sir.
Dub.
Yeah, man, not a run.
So the average,
And I
the
was
average is nothing.
Oh, hold
The
on.
average is
20
nothing,
balls.
bingy.
And if it's 20 balls, 20 balls and no runs.
20 ball.
So the
Listen.
average
Listen.
is average is 0.
Zero.
Yeah,
Zero.
and the eyes
But
are
listen up.
professional.
I mean, in his defense.
Uh-huh.
Depends. Whoever he might be.
Whoever he
in
might
his
be, yes.
defense.
Just
Yes.
unnamed person.
Yes,
That
Yeah.
professional player.
on name. In his defense.
No, we're not in the business of finger pointing around.
Yeah, we not. We not.
Yeah, man, after I game come on. Like my friend said, earn around for ducks.
So the Imo Fidos have 20 balls, but
It
Imo
don't
Fidos.
matter.
So
It don't matter.
It don't
But
matter,
earn around
okay.
for ducks too.
No,
We
the
don't
game
bother
was
with
nice.
the
I
rest.
now we
like it.
compare
I
ourselves
enjoy
with
cricket.
now we compare ourselves with Brian Lara.
No, we have to
Alright.
compare ourselves to greatness.
Yeah,
Listen,
he was
We
listen.
nice.
compare ourselves to greatness.
That nice out indoor.
When
It
I
was a
just
lovely day. It was a lovely day.
when I just went to foreign, and I used to play a bit of cricket,
Yeah.
and they used to ask me if I play for the West Indies. I said, yeah, I played in the West Indies.
So,
Yeah.
Semantics.
So they thought I was a West Indies player at one point.
alright. Alright,
Good
good
time.
time. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Dada.
Yeah, man, excellent,
man.
excellent.
Hey,
And big up Brookdale Rovers. Big
Yeah,
up
man.
Brookdale Rovers,
Yeah, man.
Big up the togetherness,
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Cooperation,
A nice day.
Better
I thought,
batting next time.
Better
Okay.
about you.
Alright.
No, the
I don't
energy
think
is
so.
right. The energy is right.
Yeah, so this has been the balanced views. Give thanks. Over to you, Dada.
Yes, sir. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for our subscribers, the ones who are watching the videos, commenting, and becoming involved in this discussion, in this growth, this transition. So we want to welcome you. We want to thank you for being with us and invite you to join us again in our next episode of the Perfect Balance Trodclass and the Balanced Views. To make sure you are present, just remember to click the notification bell, select all, and you will be informed whenever we're dropping an episode. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Give thanks.
All right.
Let's see.
Yes, sir. Give thanks for life.